Hi folks, it's Chris. We're taking our third try at this. I'm not going with the Facebook Live right now. Apparently there's some sort of an issue and we're not getting the audio and the video keeps freezing. So I'm just going to record this as a video so it gets done and we know it's solid. I'll upload it to YouTube, share it from there, and everything will be fine. So here's the deal. We're talking about how to make money with content. And I want to take that moment to mention, yes, at the end of the video we're going to talk about the deals that we have on for our anniversary week. There's $1,000 off some of the stuff that we're doing, and it's screaming deal, only good till the end of the day Sunday, so please take advantage of that opportunity if that fits for you. But the rest of this is all about how you make money, and it's really pretty solid content you can use all on your own if that's what you want to do. So no sales pitch in that at all. Here's the deal. People who create content right now, really they're selling it wrong. That's the fundamental answer for the most part. Some are doing it right, but the vast majority of people are selling it wrong. They're selling it as if the world was still 1852. That's really what they're doing. Let me explain what I mean by that. The idea in the 1800s, 1900s was you build a product, you sell a product, that's it, done, right? I write a book, I hand the book to you, you hand me money, that's the end of the transaction. It's not the way that can work anymore. People are now not just looking for the one-hit wonder, they're looking for something that will progress over time that they can have access to on their schedule, on demand. Just like television, right? With the internet being down for us the last few days, including TV at the same time, we've had to rely on our antenna for TV. We still get HD, we've got an HD antenna, so we get good quality stuff, but we don't have our DVR while it was down. We didn't have our DVR. So we didn't get to record shows that we wanted to see, we didn't get to see shows that we'd recorded, everything poof, kaput. We only get to see what's playing at the time. And I got to watch our family go through that, and really the shift in how we understand media and how we use media has been dramatic and profound. When you see people trying to hit the rewind button on live TV and it doesn't work anymore. For the first time ever in my daughter's life, that rewind button doesn't work. And she says, "Dad, I want to see it again." I said, "We'll have to look it up on YouTube later. We'll have to look it up some other spot, because it's not." This is, as it happens, streaming television. Once it's done, it's gone. I was talking to a friend of mine, a Facebook friend, who has done a lot of hosting of radio shows, talk radio. And she's still a talk radio fan, but for the most part, she only gets to listen to it in the car. And she was saying it just recently occurred to her that, you know, a lot of the shows that she was listening to, she gets to her destination, and the show's still got another hour of runtime, and she's never going to get to hear how the conversation ended. It's not on demand. And it frustrated her. The same thing is true with society today. We're looking for on-demand, sequential series of content. That could be novels, that could be how to grow tomatoes, that could be how to make teddy bears, how to make chocolates, how to run your business better, how to do project management. It could be conversations with really interesting people as interviews. It could be no-content books, like coloring books or journals or diaries or strategic planning documents. That the world is yours. What that content is almost less material than the fact that there should be an ongoing stream of it, and that it should be available to an audience that wants to pay on a recurring basis for that content. Now, as an author, a content writer, this is a big change. You're not writing one document, handing it off, crossing your fingers and praying that the world's going to beat a path to your door to simply buy 1 million copies of it and you're done. Pardon me. You're talking about something where you're building an ongoing, small bite series of works, plus the bigger works that you've always wanted to do that your audience is most particularly keen on. But they want the in-between stuff too. and they're willing to pay for it. So whether it's writing a book, delivering a course with news material that gives updates as to how this is being applied in real life, whether it's, pardon me, allergies are still kicking my butt, whether it is a series of motivational videos or demotivational videos, whatever that content is, if you have an ongoing stream of it, you now have a capacity to charge an ongoing revenue for it. It could be a membership site, it could be an app that has an ongoing monthly fee and gives your audience a mobile capacity to watch or use this content. It could be a book club, a subscription. It could be anything that has that ongoing recurring fee. You can have upgrades, you can have additional product sales in it, but you need your own platform that is going to have this ongoing revenue so that you only do the sale one time. I used the example previously with one of my favorite authors who's passed on, Lillian Jackson Braun. And while she was writing her novels, she's written, I think, 22 or 25 of them or something. I kind of had to wait until the book was in the store to even know if the book was coming out, what the next book is. It was really poorly marketed, but the books were so popular, whenever they did come out, I'd obviously get a copy when I could, but she could have just taken my money. Pardon me, the publisher could have had my money in pre-orders right off the get-go, because we knew we were going to buy the book. We just knew it was going to happen. Those days are where we are now. They weren't there in her time. They really weren't. And so this solves a problem for authors and publishers that they almost didn't understand they had. Now in the world where content is so important for the Fortune 1500 or Fortune 5000 companies, that's the number one thing that their chief marketing officers are all talking about. How do they build content for their companies? Most of their companies have no sense of what content is appropriate for their companies. For example, if you're a big oil and gas company, what are you going to talk to people about? You're going to talk to them about cars? No, you're not a car company. You're going to talk to them about lawnmowers? No, you're in a lawnmower company. What are you going to talk to them about? Uses of oil, uses of gas, uses of petrochemical products. A lot of people don't care. What can you do that's going to show a relative value to your audience that say, now I get it. Yeah, I'm going to get that kind of product instead of this one. I've been doing it wrong all these years. Okay, I know I take the pump, I put it in my car, I hit on, select the kind, I pay the price, it pumps, I take it out, say yes to the charges, and off I go. That's as far as most people have a relationship with that kind of company. Same with computer chips. The vast majority of people have no idea what kind of chip they have in their computer, why that's any different from a salt and vinegar barbecue chip, really, that they know but they don't. And so to them, why is the chip something they want to read about? There are people who are really good at making that kind of content, so that you or I, who may not care initially, actually do care. And it is something we're interested in. I related a lot to how teachers, those exceptional teachers, inspire kids to really enjoy a subject matter. I talk about it in terms of history teachers. I've had good history teachers, I've had bad history teachers. The bad ones, I didn't really want to read another history book if my life depended on it. The good ones made me want to go out and become the next archaeologist and discover the most interesting feature of a culture that's been long dead and no one's ever heard of. I wanted to know that the curiosity was overwhelming. Same thing with math. I had a lot of really bad math teachers. I also had a lot of really good ones. And the really good ones gave me enough of a love for math that I use it to this day. English, same thing. French, same thing. Pick the subject matter And it's not so much the content as the inspiration. The inspiration, the delivery of the content, and how that content makes you feel as a human being is what separates the good teachers from the bad teachers. How invested are you? How much do you love that subject? And can you bring the students with you on that ride? So when I talk about it in terms of info products or content sales, at that point we're talking about something that is a value to the consumer, to the person who's buying it. How much of a passion do you have for that subject? And how valuable is that energy to the audience who's following you on it? The more you build those relationships, just like any selling relationship, it could be selling enterprise resource planning, major software accounting systems. You're building a relationship that's going to last a lot longer than the paycheck, because those companies are going to depend on you for the foreseeable future to be that intermediary with the company that supplied the software. It's titanic software. It touches every aspect of your company. And if it has a problem, you want one throat to choke. That's a relationship, right? In content sales, they want to know the person who wrote the content, who developed the content, who sang the content, who made the music, who built the software, who built the product. They want to know you to some degree. They want to know the characters. They want to know the history. They want to know the parameters. They want to know the backstory. So as you're building your product, you have all these other avenues to build additional content very easily, very quickly, so that your audience stays engaged with you until your next big product release. And the next one after that, and the next one after that. So as you build these along, you can build a relationship with your client, and that relationship pays dividends. Let me give you an example of how that works. I did a little math here. So if you have 10 people a month that you net add to your list of members, paid members, that's assuming some go up, some go down. It averages out to 10 new people a month. You keep adding 10 new people a month every month for 1 year. Let's say you even stop after that. Let's just say at the end of 1 year, you maintain a consistent level of, at that point, that's 120 people, right? As you build up to that, here's what the numbers look like. 10 people a month at $10 a month is $1,200 a year. The next month, you add another $1,100. Next month, another 1,000, 900, 800, so on, until you get down to that. End of first year, you've made $7,800 on your info product. It's not bad, but it's not great. I mean, that's $7,800 for maybe 2 to 3 days worth of work per month. That's not bad. Now let's add to that what happens with the 12 or 120 people a month who are paying you $10 a month going forward. Now that's $1,200 a month for the next year. As long as you can maintain that level, you've got $1,200 a month of steady income for the same content, plus the little bits that you do keep going forward, on and on and on. That's another $14,400 for, again, 2 to 3 days worth of work a month to maintain, not even grow, just to maintain 120 people by the end of the year as your customers. Now obviously 10 people a month, you know whether you can exceed that substantially. Let's say you do 30 people a month. Now multiply that by 3 and you're talking about 28, 38, $42,000, $43,000 a year for, again, 2 to 3 days worth of work. Let's say you were to do 4 of those. So you're talking about $160,000 a year for 12 to 15 days worth of work. I think we're starting to see an opportunity here. That's at $10 a month. In that case, 30 people a month net new to your audience. capping out at 360 people. If you get to 360 paying members at $10 a month, you're talking about some pretty substantial revenue. If you do that for 4 products, you're in awesome Sauceville, right? So that's where I'm going with this. It's 360 people over a year. It's really not the hardest thing in the world to do. It's 1 a day, right? Yeah, it's going to take some work, but it's not overly challenging. It's not overly taxing. You find the people that are relevant to you. You make the obvious educational description of what this is, and you're going to get people signing up. Or your product isn't what they want. Kind of simple. So whether it's 6 15-minute videos that teach somebody how to do something, you do a new series every month, or it's a bunch of interviews with interesting characters or high-profile people, or it's adult or grown-up coloring books, or it's I don't care what it is. There's an audience for it. Just make it accessible for them to go participate in and buy, right? So that's where I'm going with this. Authors need to stop this concept that they have to build this monumental thing. It takes forever to build this huge book. They sell once and then nothing. That model exists. It's never been great for authors, except for the few that have 1 million copies. But you have other options. You're not stuck with just one thing. Whether you're talking fiction or nonfiction, the options are all there. So that's the how to make money with content part of this. And I'm going to tell you how I can help. Now remember, I have lots of tools, lots of toys, lots of experience, lots of opportunities and resources that I can use to help not only build your info product, develop it, deploy it, manage it, market it. I have lots of toys, lots of things I can do to help. If you go to my website, Reyactive.com, my company's website, REYACTIVE.com, you're going to find a page under the publishing thing about info products and joint ventures. On that page, there are several packages that are available. They're basically all $2,500 in varying degrees of sharing of revenues, depending on what you want to do with it and how much work you want me to do. Whatever you pick from that page, or if you want to have a custom one designed, we're taking $1,000 off if you make that decision to go forward in the next 3 days. By the end of the day Sunday, that deal's gone. The reason why I'm putting that kind of pressure on now, 2 things. One, this is our anniversary. June 18th, 2010 is when I launched Reyactive. So this has been 6 years, and it's been 6 really crazy, weird, wild, wonderful years. And this is an important opportunity for us to celebrate that. And I want to celebrate that by helping more people. I want to help you. I do. And so if I can help you with the resources that I have to make and build and market something that you can have an ongoing revenue stream for, you can have an asset. The asset has value. And this thing can produce an ongoing income stream for you and or me or both of us. This is the deal. This is the dream, right? And the more of those that I can do for the more people, the happier I'm going to be. It is. Now, what does that mean in terms of risk? Because I've heard them. I've heard every explanation. I've had every example of why this sounds so risky. It couldn't possibly happen this way. $1,500, I want you to compare the risk level of that, even if you've got nothing other than the info product at the end of it. I want you to compare that to putting $1,500 in the stock market. Now, we all know it is not the average that someone's going to make 10% or more, especially right now, by investing in the stock market. That's not the average. It's somewhere between 5 and 8%. If you've got 10% a year coming back for your $1,500 investment, that 10% would be $150, from which you will deduct fees and taxes. Right? Taxes are going to be an equal proportion in each one, but you're going to lose your fees. So you're not getting even $150 back for your $1,500 investment. Assuming you are successful in reaching a level of reward that most people don't get. Now, you can do the same thing with mutual funds. Again, the odds of you having take-home 10%, really not that great. And in both cases, you are not guaranteed that your investment is not going to go down in value. In fact, we have lots of experience with friends and family that have been impacted to the point that they're eating cat food, is the point I was getting at. They're eating cat food. Or they were. Now things are starting to turn around for them. But from 2006 to 2012, their portfolios, their mutual fund portfolios as well, tanked to the point that they lost basically everything. They lost their homes, they lost their retirement funds, they lost everything. Now the little bit they had left over from that is what's kept them afloat in basic construct, but they don't have enough to eat. They really don't. Or didn't. Again, we've helped them, other people have helped them, they're starting to kind of turn those around as I understand it, but they don't have all the money they invested in the first place. They've lost, in one case, well over $1.3 million. Both the gentleman and his wife, their retirement plans, gone. The retirement savings is gone. I think they're down to like $60,000 from that. And that's basically what they have to live on for the rest of their lives. Because they're now pushing 75. This should freak the hell out of you if you're thinking that the stock market is less risky. Want to talk about gold as an investment? I've had at least hundreds, if not thousands, of people try to sell me gold, especially when gold was on its big spike. And I shared my economic philosophy with them. I understand what the value is. I understand what the history is, all that kind of stuff. And every spike, there's always been that big drop that came afterwards. Sure enough, 3 or 4 days later, gold dropped 40%. Poof. How much money dissolved? A lot more than the $1,500 you'd have invested. When I talk about, pick anything, the amount of risk versus reward, so you don't make much. You still have an asset. You sell the asset for whatever it's worth, it's more than you'd have had otherwise. Your $1,500 beats the living hell out of a lot of the returns you're going to get. And if you only get 10 people a month for 1 year, you've almost got your entire investment back. That's with 10 people a month with no compound. You just get 10 people a month. The second year, it's paid. When you go out and buy a business, most of those are on the premise that you're going to get your money back in 3 to 5 years. In this case, you need 10 people. 12 if you want it done in 1 year. Anything above that is above break even. So please, you don't need to worry about risk the same way. It's not the same thing. This is an opportunity where if you get 10 people a month and then another 10 the next month, you're making money. How much more than that depends on how popular your product becomes, but isn't that a better investment opportunity than anything else we've talked about? Isn't that a bigger opportunity for you? So that's why I'm giving you that incentive right now to take that choice, that chance for $1,500. Let us help you build your info product, design it, develop it, deploy it, market it with you so that you can have that ongoing revenue and change your life. You at least have a chance of changing your life. And the chance is, can you beat 10 people a month? Can you get 10 people a month to cough up $10? 12. I think you can manage that. I think between us we can manage that. That's my point. That's what I'm getting at. And that's what I want to help you with. Let's get far more than that. Let's set our sights at more than that. I've got more news coming in the next video. But that's where I wanted to take it. This is our anniversary special. Take that 3 days. Make that decision if it's the right one for you. join us and we'll figure out the details as soon as possible. You could have an info product, depending on what you wanted, within a week. It doesn't have to take forever. We've got webinar capacity, we've got app capacity, we've got press release distribution among 4 different systems, we've got email marketing, we've got all social media mass distribution, we've got lots and lots and lots of ways to really share that message. It just takes one choice on your part. So I'll leave it at that. Again, thanks for your time, thanks for your energy and support. We look forward to sharing a lot more content. I have a lot more videos to do today. This is just me getting this one out. We've tried it twice on Facebook Live already. Hasn't worked out as planned, so that's what we're doing now. On to the next one. Thanks, folks. Cheers.